One day, James had to wait for Edward's train to arrive. But when he did, James wasn't happy, of course. "Late again?" James said. Edward just laughed, and James, fuming angrily, just chuffed away into the sheds. Later, James arrived at the carriage shed and complained. "That old piece of old iron, he's so slow. Edward, he makes me late." The little engines were frustrated. "Slow?" said Toby. "Old iron," Percy said. "Well, James, I'd say that Edward would beat you in a race any day, eh?" "I'd like to see him try." Next morning, James's driver had been taken ill. He was so exhausted, he could hardly stand. So the fireman took place instead. James's driver needed a word with the signalman, and James was impatient. Suddenly, the signalman shouted. There was James, puffing away down the line. "Whole traffic halted," he announced at last. Then he told the fireman what had happened. "Two boys were on James's footplate, playing with the controls. Phew. They toppled off and ran when James started." The signalman answered the telephone. "Yes, he's here." Okay. "The inspector's coming. He wants a rope of some sorts." "What for?" "Beats me, but you better get them quickly." The fireman was ready when Edward came. The inspector saw the rope. "Good man, jump in!" And Edward was off. We'll catch him, Edward said proudly. James was laughing. What a laugh! Suddenly, he was going faster and faster, and he realized he had no driver. What shall I do? Help! We're coming! Edward called out. Edward was panting as he sped along the line with every ounce of steam he had. At last, he finally caught up to James. Smooth riding, Edward's driver told him. The inspector was holding a loose rope to attach to James's buff. He tried to swing it over, but the engine swayed and lurched, so it was pretty hard. Come on. And then, at last, it's attached, he shouted, and the driver gently put the brakes on. And James's fireman jumped to the other footplate and meddled with James's controls to stop. "So the old iron caught you after all," said Edward. "Thank you for saving me." "Oh, that's all right. You were splendid, Edward. You were absolutely splendid." And they then arrived to the station beside the fat controller. "Some fine piece of work," he said. "James, you can take a rest and then take your train." "And Edward, oh Edward, I'm very proud of you. You'll take your train, but after that you'll go to the works and get mended. A fresh coat of paint is what you deserve." "Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you so dearly much." And as a bigger thank you, James whistled with pride.